All right. What is good? Welcome to the Beat the Bag wrap up show. I am happy to be here with you in the SBR offices. And for the first time in the Beat the Bag contest, we have a new leader who has lasted a second. Oh, sorry, did I say a new leader? For the first time ever, we have a leader that has lasted a second week on top of the standings. Thrill 221 has held on to his lead, but it has shrunk. He is 19-6, very impressive, up 22.43 units, but breathing down his neck at 18-7 is Tease, only 2.37 units back. In the notables department, my man Travis, who strategizes with me on Twitter, is in 48th place, and he's been unlucky with his best bets. He's 18-7, up 11.97 units. The legend, Pistol Pete Loshak, is leading the charge for everybody at SBR. He's in 95th place. He's 15-10, up 9.74 units. The big man on campus is in 371st place, up 2.50 units at 11-13-1. My man Hugh Mad Bro is in 401st place at 15-10, up 1.68 units. He's been unlucky with his best bets, which are so crucial in this competition. I had a 3-2 week, up 2.92 units, and am now in 775th place, down 1.90 units. That is not that bad considering the tonsil splashing I took week three, when I went 0-5, down just under 8 units. So I'm climbing back up to the black. Drew Martin is in 902nd place, down 3.67 units. SBR Breadman is still letting us down here in the office. We make fun of him daily. He is in 1012th place, down 5.3 units. And noted troll and giant cum smuggler Kobe Valentine is in 1187th place, down 8.98 units. That is what's up. The our strategists, our fellow strategists, are joining us on the live chat. And Tho Marino, my man, he's joining us. We got Mikey. Mikey is in the house, and we have a lot of football to talk about. So come join us, because we've got a big card with some huge spreads, and I think there's some money to be made. I hate myself for taking the Texans last week against the Chiefs. It is such a sign of bad capping. And I make this mistake more often than I want to. And I truly hope that being down here and focusing so hard on capping, I can stop making this mistake. And I have this fucking recency bias. So I had the Titans to beat the Texans. And I know now, looking back, it was such a terrible bet. But I had the Titans beat the Texans. The Texans win by 40 points. I watched the Texans destroy them. And it sticks in my mind so much that I take the Texans to beat this Chiefs team that looks like it may be rolling all the way to the Super Bowl. What a fucking mistake. I can't let this recency bias fuck over my cash flow. I didn't make the bet in cash, just in the contest, but still a fucking mistake that bothers me so much. We got Nate Dogg in the house. Why you leave T-Dot, he says, man, you got to come down here and see these Ticas, Nate Dogg. Then you'll know. All right, Tomo, he hit big bet on the Eagles last week. Big bet on the Eagles to win the division. I've known that you've had that big bet on the Eagles to win the division, and man, does that ever look good right now. That looks very good. I forget what odds you got it at, but I remember thinking that they were good. When I like plus 260 or more, let me know what odds you got that at. And Thomo says, yeah, the hardest thing in NFL is betting week to week without overweighting the last week. You fucking said it, man. And it's a mistake I hope I can stop making and be consciously aware of while we're capping this together. We got Gary Wedderburn in the house, man. Nice to have you, homie. Oh, you got minus 130 and even money. Okay, I thought it was really, yeah, I guess for some reason I thought you got bigger numbers, but I guess Mm. It's a great bet, and they look extremely good. I think you are. I don't want to. I know how gambling works, so let's just not get too ahead of ourselves. But it was an excellent bet. So shall we begin the card? Thomo bet Houston too. The injuries to Watt and Merciless were huge, but Watson looks like the shit. God, Deshaun looks better than I could have expected. And you're right. We will get into those Watt and Merciless injuries. Holy fuck! Imagine two teams getting devastated with two injuries like the Texans did on defense. You lose Watt and Merciless, and then the fucking Giants on offense losing Beckham and Shepard. I mean, that's just nuts, man. Nate Dogg, Montreal up 1-0. Yeah, I guess because we have no baseball playoffs, there'll be some hockey coming in. And I don't want to dwell too much on hockey, but I have made one call, and it's worked out to my advantage. If it continues to work out to my advantage, I need to hit the other side of it. But I have not been betting on any teams on the second game of a back-to-back in the early part of the season. Maybe we'll start hitting that more coming up. We got JJ Guerrero in the house. Thank you for joining me, my man. Did good with the Bears last night at 3.5. You got the line at the right spot, JJ. Some people ended up getting it at 3 and got the push, but nice work. And JJ had Minnesota. You should give some of your bet to Zimmer for starting Bradford. That's no joke. Gary's with me on Vegas tonight. What an emotional night they're going to have there. My heart goes out to that city and all the people affected, the people at the concert, the family members of them, the first responders. I'm so thankful that we have sports to bring us all together. And yeah, man. Dope, man. We got Retro Star, man. I dig it. Thank you for joining us, man. All right, so we got some cappers in the house. Let's start fucking capping. This show just started. Retro Star, you're in. It starts. It's 8 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock here in Costa Rica, and let's get fucking capping. I like the group we got. Let's roll. Oh, Nate Dogg says St. Louis up 2-1. Yeah, they're a fast team playing good hockey. Thomo says I have bet on Cubs to win the division. The division doesn't make sense. I really think this game being postponed could change the series momentum the Cubs had. Should be interesting. I think you're absolutely right. This momentum has changed drastically. Delta 75's in the house. I took the Jaguars plus 17. That was a good move, man. I wish you took the Jaguars on the money line. I had the Jaguars, not in the contest, but in my pools I had them. And, man, I can't wait to get in. Let's start capping, man. Enough of this. Delta's talking some college football. We may have a little bit of time to get into college football, but let's focus on the NFL, and let's focus on the Thursday nighter, which will likely be, I think it's fair for me to say, the game of the week. The Philadelphia Eagles at the Carolina Panthers. The Panthers are 3-point favorites. The over-under is 45. These are two good teams we will see in the playoffs, hopefully with the Eagles winning their division, so Thomo gets paid. And the majority of this Panther team has been to the Super Bowl. They've shown a lot of team toughness early in the year. McCaffrey hasn't shown very much. He's got to step up. 30-year-old Ed Dixon caught 5 passes for 175 yards. And maybe the Panthers don't need to rush Greg Olsen back. The Eagles look good. Man, do they look good. Wentz looks so good. Eagles have the number 2 rush defense in the league. Barnett is a monster edge rusher and was a great draft pick. Jenkins is playing big. All right, let's talk. So Thomo says, I'm only up slightly for the year, but I bet every Eagles game successfully. That's impressive. I live in the Philly area and follow the team closely. I really like Carolina. I think Cox and Darby are out. It's interesting you say that, Thomo, and I'm going to take note. I'm going to take note if you haven't lost yet on the fucking Eagles. I got that note right there. A lot of the sharps are on the Panthers in this spot. And I think, let's see what more people have. Nate Dogg likes Philly plus 3 over 45.5. I hear you, Nate Dogg. Why don't you give us some reasoning why you like the Eagles in this matchup? Let's see. Delta 75 says, in my opinion, Philadelphia doesn't have a lot of playmakers. We know that is the case. LeGarrette Blount is a monster, and he's playing very well. Best Gambler in the house says, I'll be at the game. Interesting. Well, who you like, Best Gambler? Welcome to the show, my man. Delta says, it seems like a 27-24 game. I think there's going to be offense in this game too. I think the over has a shot. Thomo says Eagles look good, but Wentz not the same quarterback on the road, in my opinion. I think the short week benefits Cam since he's on fire. Eagles' lack of running game has hurt on the road. That is true. Is the difference between Blunt at home on the road being that massive? I guess I've missed that. Slew's here talking hockey, and we can do a tiny bit of it, but let's hammer football right now. But Slew's on Vegas tonight. Says it might be a good call. It's not a statistical call. And Jim Rome's a douche, who's a good friend of SBR. That's his name. That's his name while he's capping. And he thinks that I'm using this emotional thing that Vegas is going through maybe too much. And he might be right. But let's go back and let's focus on football. So let's see. Nate. So Thomo's telling Nate Dogg that he can get plus 3.5 at some sites, which is true. Best Gambler thinks, I think Wentz is like Stafford. If we stop the long ball and get to Wentz like they did with Stafford, Carolina wins. That is a good point. Thomo says, I like the over too, but Wentz is not the same quarterback on the road. I've really seen that with him the last 2 years. I think Peterson sucks too. Short week will be tough for him here. I feel you. Nate Dogg says, I think this line moves down to favor Philly. I'm not sure. I don't, because a lot of the sharps that are hammering Carolina right now. Mikey says, I think there's some value in Detroit and over 50. If Stafford's injury isn't serious, Lions haven't scored as well on the road, but I think the dome will work in the Lions' favor. We're not talking about the Lions, my man. Let's focus on Carolina being an on or off team. I'm just not betting this one. I feel you. Thomo says, I think it depends on injuries. Johnson not practicing. Cox should be out. Retro Star, we'll get to your Kansas play, man. You stay cool. Well, I think the over is an interesting call. I'm going to write that note down as well. I think the Panthers are a play here, but I don't know if they're one of my top 5 plays of the week. David H. is in the house, not enjoying the Eagles football coach right now. Dumb idiot is what he's been called. And those are very nice words here at SBR. We use horrifying, vicious words generally. So dumb idiot is pretty sweet of you, David. Delta's on the over. Nate Dogg's on the over. Slew says public money will push the spread down to plus 2.5. Bet now if you want Philly at plus 3.5. There are more gamblers that are Philly fans than Panthers fans, so that there's some truth in that. And that is the Thursday nighter. I think it's going to be a great game. And the more I think about it, the more I'm interested in this over. It's at 45 points right now. Oh, Best Gambler is in 68th place in our contest. That's thank you for mentioning that. I got it right here. Let's get at you, man. 68th place. Let's find your name. So Thomo says, Retro Star says, what about Philadelphia money line? I mean, if you like them at plus 2.5, then you should take them on the money line. Thomo says, I hammered the Eagles last week, but Arizona's offensive line is absolute trash. Carolina's O-line has been great the last 2 weeks. You're absolutely right. Carolina's O-line has been very, very strong the last 2 weeks. If they don't get to Cam, secondary should get exposed. I think those are really good points. And I want to see what my man Best Gambler, 68th place here. Best Gambler, North Carolina in the house, man. Thank you for joining us. At this point is the highest spot joining us today to strategize. 68th place, 14-6, up 10.91 units. Respect, Best Gambler. Thank you for joining us. Mikey says, I think value on Carolina, Philadelphia over as well. Because of the short week, the secondary should be exposed. I'm expecting sloppy defensive game plans. Oh, shit, did I say CA? What do you mean, man? It says Best Gambler NC, but you're saying you're from CA. Give us more information. Delta says, I like Bortles' lack of turnover. Come on, you can stay with us, Delta. We'll get to each game, man. You guys got to stay with us. And D. Thomas is in the house. Now we got in there. Where are you now in the contest, D. Thomas? You were very high there. Let me know what spot you're in, man. You have been very impressive in the contest so far. Oh, JJ Guerrero says Carolina's 1-5 on Thursday night games since 2006. I did not know that. Charlotte, North Carolina. Yeah, that's what I figured, man. Best Gambler, thank you for joining us. I'm looking forward to hear your insight, man. You're having a monster year. 14-6. D. Thomas is in 9th? No, you're in 8th. All right, fuck best gambler. We got my man D. Thomas in the house. 8th fucking place, man. Shit. Respect. JJ Guerrero has another note to take me off of how great my man D. Thomas is doing. Eagles are 2-4 Thursday night games since 2006. These are excellent stats, JJ. Thank you for hitting us with. They're great. Thank you, man. Okay, so we got the 8th place, D. Thomas in the house at 17-8. So I guess, D. Thomas, are you 5 for 5 on your best bets? Because that's an impressive unit up with the 17-8. So we got D. Thomas in 8th. We got my man Best Gambler North Carolina, who's in 68th. We got some good cappers with us. We got Thomo ready to walk. We got JJ Guerrero giving us stats. We got my man Nate Dogg. We got Retro Star, man. We got a good crew. John Kerry is in the house, man. He has to say what is good. I have to say you're the next best thing after Pete Loshak on SBR. Thanks for making me some cash this week. Hey, John, it's my absolute pleasure. I want us all to cash. I'm honored just to be in the same sentence as Pete Loshak. There's some great cappers here, and I love working with these guys. And Delta says 65 degrees rain expected Friday in Carolina. Well, I mean, the game is on Thursday, though, so let's get the Thursday info, my man. We got Sports Capper in the house. Ooh, this is good, man. Ooh, Sports Capper's coming with some fucking facts, man. Sports Capper says teams that were the victim, i.e. Steelers, of 2 defensive touchdowns are 13-8 straight up and 15-6 against the spread in their next game since 2014. Wow. 5-6 straight up and 7-4 against the spread as a dog. 2-0 against the spread in the current season. Colts week 2 and week 5. Man, that's interesting. Joe Kim is in the house. Blackhawks tied up at 1. I feel you. Game going over. The second of back-to-backs. But let's focus on football. We got some great cappers in the house. So let's roll. Okay, so we got some great cappers in the house. We got the Thursday night game taken care of. Let's start running through Sunday's games. And we can hit them a little harder tonight because there's not as many games. There's a lot of teams on the bye. Ooh, Joe Kim says Hawks 2-1 now. Retro Star says I need to have a bad chick with me going over these games. Facts, man. You are absolutely right, man. We need a little titties on this show. And I will see what I can do in that regard. Thomo says the only trend I've heard this year that I think has value is teams coming off a Thursday game are 8-0 against the spread. Ooh, that is a good trend, man. Ooh, okay, I like where we're going, man. I want to keep this action going. I want to keep it moving fast, but I really want to hit these games hard, and I really dig all the cappers we have on the show tonight. All right, let's run. First game, Sunday we're going to hit is the Browns at Texans, -10. Over-under is at 46 points. This is a huge spread for a team that lost Watt and Merciless for the season last week. A huge loss. Pro Football Focus ranked Watt the #1 interior defensive lineman in the league last week. They lost Cushing to PEDs, lost Bouye to the Jags. It is the Clowney show now, and he better step up fucking big. This is a huge spread after all that's gone down. The Browns are a fucking mess. It looks like Kevin Hogan will be given the keys to the 86 Chevette that is rusting in the backyard. It's hard to get a good read on him because he generally comes in during garbage time. He looked good versus the Jets. 16-4-19 for 194 yards and 2 touchdowns. Myles Garrett had 2 sacks. The Browns quietly have the 5th best rush defense in the league. They better get used to defending the rush because seems that they will be behind and teams will be running out the clock. All right, let's see what you guys have to say. Nate Dogg says salutes for Jimmy. Thank you. And the Thursday is not true. Bears lost, no cover. Well, we can go over those numbers in a bit. David H. says Cleveland is downright awful. Domo says, I think Houston fell apart with the injuries. They demoralized them. Teams have tape on Watson now. I think Cleveland is trash, though. I will not bet them. Not betting this game. Houston or pass to me. Delta says pass too. This is a big spread for a team that's been decimated with injuries. And in all honesty, I think we can all say that this Texans defense did not look that good, even with Watt and Merciless. How are they going to handle without them? All right, so there's some talk about that. So JJ comes in and says, I think back to the Philly game. We can add one more point. I think if Philly gives Blunt 20 carries, they can pound the rock easily against Carolina, but they don't use him right. I think he should be used a lot as well. But let's stick with the Browns at Texans. Everybody seems to be very careful with this. I don't see anybody hammering either side, and for good reason. I almost think Browns are the play here, but it's so hard to say that. Christopher Kelly, what up, man? Thank you for joining. So it says, bet Houston, don't be scared. Cleveland has no idea which QB to go to and will get stomped. Cleveland needs to be recycled, David. Ace Farmer is in the house. And he says no one runs in Carolina. Yeah, we got Carolina fan. Thanks for joining us, Ace. Someone says, I agree Houston didn't look good, but I thought they were flat off the blowout win against a divisional opponent, in my opinion. And Delta said, okay, we're moving fast here. We're moving real fast. Let's see if I can catch up. Delta says, I still like Houston. He thinks it's going to be a 31-10 blowout. Chris Kelly says Houston stomped Tennessee with Matt Castle. How better is Cleveland than Tennessee? I think this Cleveland Browns team would beat Tennessee with Matt Castle. Matt Castle is fucking terrible. And then my man Tony Suave is in the house. Slew says, Bag, I love you, bro, but what's with this and this? What's with the dissing of the NHL tonight for a freaking Thursday night NFL game? Whoa, Slew. Slew, this is a beat the bag football contest, my man. You know I love hockey, but come on. Justin Emmerich is in the house. Welcome, my man. He says, Texans can put up some points. They're shifting from defensive to offensive teams. I think Texans blowout. Okay. All right, so we got some guys now hitting the Texans. Thomas says, Ace, agree. Eagles couldn't run at all on KC. Only good run defenses they played. Sports Capper likes the Browns on the teaser. Okay. Okay, Retro Star says, Browns, hell no. They're trash. Retro Star says, if dudes play Browns, burn your money. Browns can move the ball better than the Vikings, says. We got a new guy in the house. Okay, this is good. Yeah, they did just give two. Okay, better games on the card than this game. I feel you. And all right, I'm falling behind. I gotta catch up. All right, we're just gonna go right to the top. There's no justification putting money on the Browns on the road. I think that you are right, Joe. Joe Kim says that. I think you are right. I mean, although I think Kevin Hogan might be able to do something. He'll definitely look better than Kaiser. In the long run, you're going to need Kaiser to figure this shit out, though, if you're a Browns fan. Tony says this is a trap game. And Retro's happy that I got a show on primetime. Okay, we are caught up. And, okay, I think after I said people weren't really making a move, a bunch of the guys came in and said Texans are the play. And another bunch said they're not making a move, that this is a trap game. This is not going to be one of my 5 plays at this point. And after strategizing with you guys, it's not going to be. Let's move on to the next game. This is a very exciting game and a nice divisional rivalry that we've watched so often. So we got a couple more notes on that. Kaiser can run for 50 yards a game, though. Kaiser is likely to be the future. He's just not looking good right now, and you don't want to go 0-16. Thomas says, I really don't like Hogan. Watched him a lot at Stanford. He's not an accurate QB, and I think Cleveland is already in tank mode, going for new QB. JJ says, last year, Browns team is better than this year's team. Watson and Hopkins are hot right now. Take Houston to win. I feel you. Delta agrees. I didn't like that guy at Stanford. He had an elite wide receiver. Ace wants me on ESPN instead of – you know what? I feel pretty good right here in Costa Rica, Ace, and I need you guys here, man. The guys I strategize with every Tuesday night. I need you guys to come down so we can have some fun, man. But thank you for the props, Ace. You're a great guy, man. Okay, so the next game is the Patriots -9.5 at Jets. We have a couple more notes. Mikey says, tough backing the Browns ever. Rather just not play. This is a weird spot after the Watt injury, but good teams bounce back from adversity. If Texans are serious, they cruise. I'd say lean Texans, but pass. I am the same way, man. I am the same way. But Retro Star says, and I need to get the show earlier, though, because the games start. We need me capping some ass, and I may make an appearance at the Hotel Raid this evening, and I will be capping ass. All right. Okay, we got Delta. We got the first score. The first score dropped in for the Patriots game. Patriots at Jets. He has a New England 24, Jets 20. Now, we know, we've watched over the last few years, the Jets seem to always cover when they play the Patriots. Let's see what Thoma has to say. I really think the Jets are overrated here. Now, I agree with Thoma, and we'll get into that in a little bit. Pats should have destroyed Tampa, and Jets got Jacksonville after London game, and Pittsburgh in a look-ahead spot with KC on deck. I think Patriots roll here. Patriots and Thomo says Patriots won't look past the Jets with 2 losses. Tony says take it. Touchdown Tom is going to cover. Now, well, let's talk a little bit more about it. The Pats D still looks lost, right? That's fair to say. There's blown coverages all over the place. They look a little bit better with Hightower in the lineup. Brady looked hurt. This was the first time against the Bucs where Brady looked hurt after every play. Now, Tony says take the under, and I like the under in this game, and it may be one of my 5 picks. Ace is not happy that Nashville already scored. Okay, but let's keep focusing on this. Brady looked hurt. Now, he might be Tom Brady, the great Tom Brady, but he is 40 years old, and he's not getting protected. One reason why I think the Jets are going to be in a tough spot here. So Christopher Kelly says, New England all the way. I've been riding the Thursday next week cover trend all year. 8-0 against the spread. You know, this cover trend is very good news for all of us watching, all of us handicappers watching. That may be something we should put in play right away. 9.5 is a big spread, but the Jets' offense was already easy to defend. Then they lose Bilal Powell to a calf injury. Elijah McGuire comes in and struggles. If all you have to do is defend the pass, the Jets will have a very tough time moving the ball. Thomo says, I think the Pats' defense is better than they looked against Carolina and Houston. They were fine against Saints and Tampa. Jets' offense sucks if you can stop the run, and that is what I just said. I agree completely. Ace Farmer says Tom Brady looks pitiful every time he gets knocked down, like he needs a Percocet to get up. Well, we all need Percocets sometimes, my friend. Ace, we all need Percocets sometimes. But I've not seen Tom struggle to get up like he did last week, and if this guy wants to play till 45, I tell you, it does not look good. So we all think Patriots are the play here. We have not had one. The very first score was I forget who gave us the very first score, but that person said 24-20, and that's Delta 75. Yeah, Bilal got a calf injury last game, so I think it was Delta who wanted 24-28, and that's why we changed it. I tell you, if Powell's healthy, we've seen the Jets cover this matchup time and time again. Joe Kim says, -9.5 was the same exact spread for last year's game at the Jets. They covered. The Jets team this year is playing better and giving way more effort. The Jets will cover this game. Tom Brady goes off on the Bills, not so much the Jets. Well, okay. I like it, Joe. I like you being on the other side. Slew says, I understand that the NFL and college football is big betting, but why not talk about the NHL? Okay, no, I feel you. I feel you. Slew, I know you want to talk hockey, man, but this is a football show. Tony wants to talk about the Finns. We will talk to them. We will talk about them. They are later in the show. Thomo says, I think the Thursday game is tough if you aren't 40. Might mean the extra week gives New England more value than most teams because of Brady's age. That is a very sharp point, Thomo. And A says, picked up well, you fucked up the spelling, and now I'm not even pronouncing it right. Garoppolo. You picked him up in your dynasty league for when Brady breaks a hip, says Ace. I do not think we will see an appearance from him, even though Brady looks tough and looks hurt. Brady's just, he's the motherfucking man. I don't think he's going to miss any action. Kaiki says Gronk's back. I don't know. Is that a fact that Gronk is going to play? Mikey says, I love Patriots coming off the mini-bye Thursday game. Gotta love Brady on some extra prep and rest to help some of the banged-up playmakers. Thomo says, Joe Kim, if you think this Jets team is better than the team last year offensively, I have a bridge to sell you. They had Marshall and Forte. They have neither this year. Those are good points, Thomo. The defense is better this year, and they seem to be playing for each other this year. But I see your point. Okay. Slew is gonna leave. Slew is gonna leave. He just wants to talk hockey talk, man. Then let's talk to SBR, man. Let me get my own hockey show. We got Roberto Carlos in the house. Thank you for joining us. JD is here saying, anyone have a stat with what teams favored by a touchdown or more against the spread record is this year? I don't believe it's good. Good question. Christopher Kelly says Brady hurt his shoulder and sat out of practice, but he's expected to play Sunday. Yes, he sat out of today's practice, but he said he will be good to go. Ace Farmer is interested in the bridge that Thomo is selling. And Delta says Brady may not even finish this game, it sounds like. Brady's a fucking tough guy. I know he's been looking beaten up, but I expect him to finish every game all year. Domo says defense is better this year, I think. Oh, we're still talking about the Jets, but they haven't been tested. Jacksonville, Cleveland are horrible offenses. There's a point there. Nate Dogg says the total has gone over 4 of the last 5 Philadelphia games against Carolina. Okay, that is interesting. But we've moved on to the next game, Nate Dogg. He's smoking some weed, man. He's smoking that kush. Let's keep up. Domo says they always make up injuries. Brady has to explain why he never practices. He's 40. He is 40. And what do you think of Big Ben? Roberto says, we're going to have a great talk about the Steelers, Roberto, my man. And we're almost there. So stay cool. We're going to keep going down in order. All right. That's the Patriots-Jets game. I like the under, but there was some interesting stats about the over. Great stuff. This is great stuff, man. I got to go through this with a fine-tooth comb afterwards. Okay, let's move on. Next game, Dolphins at Falcons, -11, over under 47 points. This is a massive spread. Ace says, who's winning the Super Bowl, Jimmy? Joe Kim wants to know about the weed over here. Well, let me get to the weed first. It's expensive, but it does the trick. I need more time to figure out the Super Bowl winner right now. Ace, who you like? Sports Capper says teams favored by a TD or more are 8-11 against the spread. God, it is nice to have the Sports Capper running with us, man. Thank you for answering that question so fast. You're the fucking man. Mikey says, I kind of lean to the over also as improved as the Jets defenses look. I think the Pats will be able to move the ball, and Pats D isn't going to flip the switch defensively in a week or so. Jets points too. Interesting. Tony Suave, Fins up. Okay, we got your Fins, Tony. Let's do this. Oh, Nate Dogg's got some facts for us. New York Jets are 4-1 against the spread the last 5 games when playing New England at home. Well, we said that off the top. I mean, we've all watched this divisional rivalry over the last few years, and Jets continually cover. They continually cover. Now they can't run the ball. Are they going to be able to pass the ball, McCown? I don't think so. Okay, we moved on to the Dolphins at Falcons in this massive spread. Chris Kelly's up. So let's just say a couple things. First, Chris says Cutler is disinterested. Atlanta off a bye week should roll. Julio got extra rest. Okay. First off, I want to talk about Cutler. He looked about as bad as a winning quarterback can possibly look last game, going 12 for 26 for 92 yards. The most apathetic man in all of sports tries to retire, and then the Dolphins come calling for him? The fuck are you thinking? Now, Kiko Alonso is a fucking beast. God, he looks good. Timmons looks good. I don't know why the Steelers let him go. Okay, so there's that. So there's that point. Now we go to the Falcons. Now let me get through some of these guys so I don't miss you. Delta says Dolphins 17, Atlanta 31. Tony says Cutler will do it this time. Okay. Joe Kim says Dolphins first half all the way. They will come out firing. Interesting. We got some Dolphins fans here, or Dolphins guys who believe in this team. We going through the entire NFL slate, Mikey? Yes, we are. The entire NFL slate, my man. Joe Kim says, I mean Falcons. Okay, well, you just fucked with us. John Kerry says, dude, I had the weed in the Dominican Republic, and that shit had me looking at a plantain tree like it was an attack dog for 10 minutes. Weed in third world countries is a no-no for me since then. John, I enjoy that story very much, man. We got to turn it into a cartoon. I think we have our first cartoon, John. SBR needs a magazine. Let's do this, man. Let's come together on that. Someone says, I really like Atlanta here. I think the bye came at the right time with Julio getting rest. Miami can only cover if they run, and I think they will get behind and be forced to throw. And we know what happens when Cutler puts his arm back. If Cutler throws on the secondary, I think he gets destroyed. Nate Dogg says the total has gone over in 11 of Atlanta's 13 games. Interesting. But what if the Dolphins get 7 points in this game? But that's an interesting fact. David says Atlanta is going to man up. They're going to win. Tony says it's at, oh, wow, the line's moved to 12.5. Thomo got Atlanta at 10.5. Good move, Thomo. It's going up. All right. Thomo laying 12. We got some bridges to sell. Okay. Ace got Atlanta at 10.5. Or Ace is just, sorry. He's saying Thomo got Atlanta at 10.5. Big E wants to know what I think about the Saints, bro. I'm looking forward to talk about the Saints, Big E. And I love having you here, my man. You're a great capper. Thomo says, betting Cutler in an NFL game, and we're still selling bridges. Okay. Now let's talk a little bit about Atlanta. Clearly, Sarkisian is not as good at running an offense as Shanahan. That was a big loss for the Falcons. The Super Bowl hangover is real, but they've had rest, and we know that Julio needed it. Joe Kim is heavy on taking the first half on Atlanta. I think that's a good call, Joe, my man, and I'm going to make that note right now. First half action on Atlanta. I think that's a good call, man. Tony says this is the week to bet on Jay. well, there are a lot of bridges for sale on our forum. Tony. That's almost laughing. Okay. This is a big line, but I think the Falcons can take care of it. It's such a big line that I'm a little concerned on making this bet. It's not definitely not going to be one of my top 5. The Falcons have not looked very good this year. Delta says, I like the first half too. I think they go up like 24-3. Yeah, and Retro wants to know what the low-hanging fruit is on Sunday. And we've got some people laughing. If Atlanta gets up early, the Dolphins will quit. Well, their defense won't quit. Their defense looks really good. We got, I don't know how to pronounce your name. I'm going to go with Nobi. My man Nobi. Is that a silent K? You got to let me know. Lots of big lines this weekend. We're going through them. Farmer, my man Ace says, Sarkisian back on the bottle in Atlanta. Well, I hope not, but I hope, you don't want anyone to go back on the bottle, but I'm really thinking of hitting the bottle hard this evening. Thomo says, I watched Gase with Cutler in Chicago for years being from Chicago. He kept the Bears in games by running and slowing the game down. If Miami gets behind, they can't play conservative, and Cutler fucks up. I think that's a really good point, Thomo. Nate Dogg says the total has gone under in 6 of Miami's last 8 games when playing Atlanta. That's a good, that's interesting. I think the under might be the play here. Nate Dogg, again, thanks for your fucking, we got Nate Dogg and the Sports Capper giving us great facts, and I dig it. Best Gambler comes in, Dolphins can't score. I think Nate Dogg is onto something with this under, and I am going to write it down. Nate Dogg, man, you got some choruses for me, man? Missed that guy. Thomo says Dolphins secondary is horrible too. Howard and Maxwell can't cover anyone. I just don't see them getting stops. I feel you, but they may not get many stops, but they're not going to put up any points. Mikey says Atlanta is always a quick start, especially at home, and you're right there. It seems like they always score on the opening drive. It does feel that way. I think the value is on the first half. Ryan has done well in the past off a bye. Jones is getting rest. Yeah, the bye's a plus. Thomas said, I think the problem with the under, in my opinion, is if Atlanta gets up big and plays prevent, Dolphins could get easy scores. Cutler, king of yards and points in garbage time. That is a good point. That is a good point. Laying -12 backdoor TD always fucks you. I could try to say your name because that is a very good point. And aspire to a late. Aspire to a late. Okay, I just had to take a deep breath and figure that shit out. Not be a fucking idiot. Aspire to a late. That is a fact, man. Those -12 lines can get touched at the very end of it. Nobi says value might even be on the first quarter if your book offers. I think we're going to stick with the half. I think Joe Kim, I think you were on the right track, my friend. And can you follow me on Twitter? I don't know if you follow me on Twitter, but please do. I will follow you back, and I will tweet out that action at some point this week and tag you with it. Ace Farmer says, just lay the house on Cleveland tomorrow. Well, now we're talking about the bottle again. Hopefully Sabathia has a drink this evening. I've got a lot of futures on Cleveland, and I'm very concerned. We need to talk about this, Ace. We need to talk about Kluber, and this is not the right show for it, but, man, do we need to talk about it. My man Tony says, Finns are going to ball this weekend. Set up for a Finn cover. Don't forget, they'll bust the line for the second half, man. A Best Gambler has a 6-point teaser with the Pats and Falcons. Thomas says, Miami's still overrated from the first game. They've got to play the second worst team in the NFL, in my opinion, with an extra week to prepare. Wow, well, a lot to digest. I might have to watch this show again tomorrow and figure out all this stuff, man. You guys are bringing really, really good points. Aspire to a Late says got the over in the Indians game. We have to figure out what's going on with Kluber. I have some interesting ideas because of a capper that I stay in contact with on Twitter and he has some really interesting ideas on what's going on with Kluber right now, which I will share in the appropriate show. Ace Farmer says got a big bet on Cleveland series and he's not hedging. Man, okay, I could talk about baseball, hockey all fucking day, all night, and this isn't that show. I'm very concerned about Kluber, but we know that Indians hit lefties hard. They should be the right play. John B says, "Yo, bag releasing fluids." You know what, John B? I am chock full of fluids right now, so I may have to make a fluid transfer this evening. Thomas says, "Ace, I'm telling you, man, Kluber is not healthy. I think Cleveland wins, but I'm not betting this game." Okay, let's not get into it. Nate Dogg says Raptors looking good in preseason. We're losing our focus, and I've got to direct us back. Yeah, Ace, I'll stay in contact with you about what's going on. Delta says Raptors have good chemistry. They played together for a long time. I think they will be better than people expect them to be. John B says, "How was the spa?" I tell you what, you're much better after a spa visit than you were before. And that's the truth. Bust a nut. Okay, Tony thinks Kluber will get the shit done. Okay, but okay, I'm bringing us back. Okay, next game. Detroit Lions at New Orleans Saints, -4.5 with an over-under of 50 points. And I promise I'll hit you up, Ace. Okay, so this is a bigger spread than I expected, likely because the Saints are coming off a bye and have had 2 weeks to prepare. Breeze looks incredible as always. And it's nice to get that pouting Peterson off the sidelines. The Lions D completely shut down the Panthers running game, which was impressive. Tate, my man Golden Tate, is not doing very much. Lions came back last week when the Panthers took their foot off the gas. All right. So let's talk. So it's a 50-point spread, and my man Best Gambler, 68th in the Beat the Bag competition. Also, if you're from North Carolina, you should run. I don't know if you run with my man Ace, but you guys should get together. Loves the over. Delta thinks Detroit loses 34-31. That's a huge over. My man Travis Taylor's in the house. Hello, gentlemen. Well, welcome, Travis. I'm getting behind. Let me welcome you in a second, Travis. Respect on how you're doing now in this contest, man. You're locking shit down. So let me quickly catch up. I think Stafford is hurt. People forget he was very injury prone most of his career before the last 2 weeks. He did not look good against Carolina until the end of the game against the soft zone. I agree with that. Tony says Lions on the money line. Okay. David says Saints and Detroit over. That's the second person who's jumped on the over. Tomo says the line movement says Stafford's hurt too, in my opinion. Saints are past to me. Okay, interesting. JD says Stafford health is a concern. He's uncertain. Impossible to cap this game right now. Okay. Adrian Peterson went to Arizona. That's what I was saying, Big E. It's nice to get his pouting Peterson off the sidelines. Nice to get him, off the bench. Yeah, he's on that. We talked about that at the beginning of the show. And Slew says, I too. Oh, Slew stuck around for football. Okay. I too hear Stafford has the leg issue. My man Mikey says, value in Detroit, New Orleans, over 50 if Stafford injury isn't serious. You're right. That's a big issue with the over. Lions haven't scored as well on the road, but I think the dome will work in the Lions' favor. Saints offense should roll with extra time to prep. Delta says, can Saints stop this run game? The run game is not that good. This Lions run game is not that good. Nate Dogg says the total has gone under in 8 of Detroit's last 9 games on the road. Nate Dogg with another big fact for everybody. Wow. Under an 8 of Detroit's last 9 games on the road. Sneeds is back, says my man Kaiki. That's a big deal. Mikey says, wait to look at the injury report to play this game. I think you're right. My man Gary Wedderburn says over and Lions to cover. Stafford always gets it to win within 3. That is a fact that Stafford seems to always get his team back in the game. And Delta says, wow, Nate, how about dome games? Man, Nate Dogg is delivering some gold. So is Sportscapper. All you guys are. Travis says, thanks for the shout out, Jimmy. Having a decent run so far. Locked in. Well, Travis, it's about time you joined us if you're locked in, man. My man Travis Taylor joining us. I talked to him about off the top. Let me just quickly go over how good he is doing. My man Travis is in 48th place, 18-7, up 11.97 units. So we got 3 guys who are in the top 100 strategizing with us right now. So let's make some fucking good moves here now. We got everybody together. Tomo says Lions pass rush was horrible against the Saints. I don't think he can get stops, and New Orleans defense has looked solid since the first 2 weeks. My man Best Gambler says, but none was going against the worst defense in the league. Nate Dogg says the total has gone over in 6 of New Orleans' last 7 games. Okay, so we have 8 of 9 games with Detroit on the road under, and then 6 of New Orleans' last 7 games over. So that's a difficult shit to digest. Aspire to Elate has got New Orleans. Karma isn't. Oh, Karma. Sorry, Kamara is an X factor. I thought you were gonna say Karma. And yeah, Thomo agrees completely. Aspire to Elate. Okay. JD says, as we learned last night with Bradford, sometimes the starting quarterback playing while hurt is worse than sitting. We need the inside scoop on Stafford. Thomo agrees. I agree. Slew says, what's the website for my brother's apparel site? It's 9 o'clock gun. Is my brother's my brother has a hat company. And if you think I got a hat collection, it's maybe a 10th, maybe a 20th of what my brother has. 9 o'clock gun out of Man City, Canada. But let's keep rolling. This is I don't know. Nate Dogg first gives us the interesting information that 8 out of 9 last Lions games on the road have gone under, and then 6 of 7 of the Saints' last 7 games overall have gone over. Most people have the over right now, and I wonder what you guys think. Delta says Lions won at New Orleans 27-13 last year. Okay, Big E says need to take that San Francisco hat and put back the Saints hat. Put back on the Saints hat. Man, you're right. These Niners are not a very good football team, and the Saints do look like a good football team. Thomo says Saints defense was trash last year. They've looked respectable so far. Big E is on the Saints. Who dat? He says. I'm leaning over, but it is definitely not one of my top 5 picks right now, and I'm not sure if I'm going to make an individual wager. I was really afraid of last week's card, and this week I'm much more comfortable with some of the plays, although I don't really like any of the Giant Dogs except for one, which we will get into soon. John B says, how long are you going to be in Costa Rica? I have no idea, man. That's how the bag rolls. I'd like to stay on the move, but this is a pretty nice spot. But I have to keep making money, and I've won 6 days in a row, and they haven't been big scores, which is interesting. I'm up $1,717 documented last 6 days, not including what I've been making at the bet box. And you know, if you're capping for a living, then $1,717 on a winning streak is not enough money. But being in the black is a great place to be, and that's where I am right now. John B says, you staying at SBR? I'm not sleeping here tonight, if that's what you're asking. Picked up a mattress at Walmart, son. We do. Thomo says, always funny how when you bet smaller, you seem to win more, in my opinion. You know, Thomo, in reality, I'm really not even betting that much smaller. You know, I'm still putting out at least $600 a night with my local, and then half of that with the box. It just seems like I'm maybe spreading it out differently. And I'm also not dominating any of these nights. I'm hitting like 3 for 7 on parlays or 4 for 7 on parlays. Like I'm not getting many clean sweeps. So Slew says always the way, Tomo. You know, it's just about making smart decisions, and I think getting to sit beside Pistol Pete Loshak has helped a great deal, and getting to talk with you guys about what moves to make all the time has helped enormously. My man Travis says, I'm going to be at the Carolina game. Ace, we're going to have to do a pick for the SBR guys. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Get best capper in North Carolina, too. I didn't know you were in North Carolina, Trav. I'm definitely going to run through and hang with you guys at some point when I'm rolling through America. Delta says, my parlays have been weak. Well, you know what? Won 6 days straight, Delta. And so and you spelled weak, W-E-E-K, so I guess I have no idea what the fuck you're trying to say. Mr. Loudpack, what up, man? What you think about the NBA upcoming season, mainly the Sixers? Oh, and Best Gambler will be at that game. You guys, we need to pick because I know Ace has fucking seats in row 4. Okay, I'm falling a little behind. Okay, so the Sixers, we don't really have time to talk about Sixers, but I'm betting on Ben Simmons to win Rookie of the Year. But we got to stick on football, and we're going to talk tons of basketball coming up, so don't worry about that. Okay, Nate Dogg's got Detroit and the under. Okay, Nate, I like it. I feel you. And Thomo, yeah, man, you get down to that game too. Oh, and D. Thomas is from North Carolina, man. What is it with you, Carolinas, man? You guys are some good capping out there. Shit. Personal seat license, row 4, AC the fucking man. Okay, let's get back to capping. Delta says you do better single bets. All right, Delta. Mikey says load up on the Lions and over. They're down +6. Stafford will shred that D if they drop into a prevent. I don't trust the Saints' run game to burn the clock with 7+ minutes. Need to keep scoring. And those are good points. Travis says, I'm from Abbotsford, Jimmy. Going to be down there for the Thursday night. Oh, shit. Then Atlanta on Sunday, Travis. That's fucking dope, man. Well, I'll definitely check you out in Abbey. I got one of my best friends in Abbey, and yeah, I'll check you out for sure, Trav. Best Gambler says, Ace, I'm in the Miller Lite Suites. Dude, you guys don't fuck around, you guys. All right. Well, let's move on. And Mr. Loudpack likes, hell yeah, Big Ben for MVP. Wow, I'm going for Rookie of the Year, Mr. Loudpack. But thank you for joining. Okay, let's keep running. Next game, Bears at Ravens, -7. It's Trubisky time. He faced a very tough defense in his first start, now faces another one in the Ravens. He went 12 for 25 for 128 yards. Now, that stat line doesn't really represent how he played. He played better than those numbers suggest. Jordan Howard needs to take the pressure off him. He ran 19 times for 76 yards, but it was very tough against the Viking defense that knew that they had to run the ball. The Bears' defense is good. We've talked about their front seven on this show often. Floyd and Hicks each had 2 sacks versus the Vikes. Now let's talk a little bit about the Ravens. The loss of Yanda hurt the Ravens' passing game a lot. But the running game has been better than I expected. Javarius Allen went 21 for 73 yards. Alex Collins went 12 for 55 yards. I did not expect that. Travis, we need lots of stories about your trip. David does not want to bet on this game. Let's talk more, Trav, okay? Oh, shit, he's heading to Charlotte with 10 guys. We do this trip every year. Hit 3 games somewhere around the States. It's fucking dope, man. Okay. Tomo, I followed the Eagles and Bears closely, being from Chicago and living in Philly area. Bears defense is garbage with Trevathan out. Okay. Okay. He should be back. Ravens are not a good team, in my opinion. I think Bears. You know, the main guy that I strategize with up in Canada likes the Bears here quite a bit. Sports Capper says, Bears commit too many turnovers, mostly on the road. We've seen them be a Jekyll and Hyde team. They look so bad on the road, and they look pretty good at home. So when my man said that he liked the Bears, I was like, well, but they look so fucking such trash on the road. And he says that they'll be different with Trubisky. Mr. Loudpack says, Chicago Bears wide receivers are last week's trash. Facts. You are absolutely right, Mr. Loudpack. Their wide receivers are fucking terrible. Jay Peach says, remember Jimmy? Jay Peach, you caught me by surprise. It's tough because I'm just reading out everything that I see. Jay Peach, thank you for joining us. Jay Peach says, remember, 49ers are open ass. I do remember, Jay Peach. Welcome back. So Ace is talking about that shit. Scoring is halted in all any tokens, okay? Thomas says, Sports Capper, that was with Glennon. I think Trubisky is an upgrade, and that's what I was saying. Delta says, the Ravens are too experienced to lose this game. Nate Dogg says, the total has gone under in 4 of Chicago's last 5 games playing Baltimore. And the over-under is an A right now. We don't know what that's going to be at this point. Unless any of you guys know, share it to me. It's not in the contest right yet. Best Gambler says, did you all watch the game? John Fox doesn't care. I don't even think he knows what's going on. He's strange. It's strange. John Fox has that team fucking riled up at Soldier Field, and then they fucking go on the road, and they just look so soft. Jay Peach says, what up, Ninja? Jay Peach, you're funny, man. Thank you for joining us. Aspire to Elate says, this game is all field goals. Take the under. It's possible for sure. And Delta says, yeah, Tucker may have 3 field goals, 23-13 type deal. Interesting. Under. My man Lou Chase Fox is joining us. Under. All right, you guys. That's enough for me. I'll jot that down and continue studying it. It might be a good game to do some field goal props, hey? What do you guys think? Field goal props? Tell me what you guys think of that while I write that shit down. Field goal props. All right. Thomo says, Fox seems like the game has passed him by. He was decent with Carolina, but is too conservative, in my opinion. It's hard with those wide receivers not to be that conservative, but I hear what you're saying. Nate Dogg, dropping more facts. Says Baltimore is 5-0 in the last 5 games when playing at home against Chicago. Ooh, but they're 7-point favorites. I mean, that's a big spread for a team that doesn't look so good offensively. Travis Taylor says, okay, we're talking about the fun. Delta says, fun idea, field goal prop. Well, maybe you should say some nicer things about my gambling then, Delta 75. I guess you just don't like my parlays. You're fine with my single bets or whatever. I don't mean to be so sensitive. Luce says, I think meth addicts bet on field goal props. Well, I'm not a meth addict. I have not smoked meth in my life. But I like the field goal props, Luce, my man. What do you think? David wants me to go on the next game. Okay. Best Gambler says, oh, no, that's not to me. Okay. My man Jay Pete says, smoking dabs, playing online poker. Give me the bag, live life. I dig it, man. Okay. Okay, you mean situationally, not going for 4th downs. Didn't understand punting on the Vikings 38 on 4th and 2 last night. I totally feel you guys. Okay. Stars are up 1-0. Interesting. William O'Connell has joined us and wants to know about the team totals. Aspire to Elite says at least 5 field goals in this game. Wow. Kaiki says, I want to get down heavy on Denver. Am I delusional? You are not delusional. And we will get to that game, I promise you, my man. Mikey says, Bears 2-8 against the spread, 0-10 straight up last 10 on the road since 9/11/2016. Jesus. Can't back a rookie on a short week in his first career road start. Baltimore is usually a pretty hostile environment. I fucking love the city of Baltimore, but you're right, man. Those fans are zero jokes. And he says, Luce says, save your money for the NHL and Leafs bets. Stay off the field goal props crack. Okay, Luce, you've made your point. You've made your point. Luce does not think I should hammer any field goal props. All right. Delta says team totals, yes. Okay. All right, let's move on to the next game. 49ers at Redskins. Redskins are 10-point favorites. The over-under is 46.5 points. This is another big line. Foster will not be back this week for the Niners. Now, that isn't 100% that he won't be back, but it looks very likely that he won't be back. It was a very interesting Niners game last week. Bowman was benched for part of the game. Imagine watching a Niners game and Navarro Bowman is benched. So how will he respond? It's a big question. How will he respond? Hyde, my man, Carlos Hyde, needs a bounce-back game desperately. 8 rushes for 11 yards? The fuck was that? Adam Lastman likes the points. Welcome to the show, Adam Lastman. Thanks for joining us. My man Jay Peach likes -10 and the under. The Skins D is okay against the run. Not great, but good. They allow 88.8 yards a game. But fuck, man, you guys, how good is Cousins playing? Playing fucking incredibly well. 107.6 passer rating. Only behind that crickety old 40-year-old man Brady. 7 touchdowns, 1 pick. Skins were unlucky to lose to the Chiefs, but can they cover this giant spread? Let's see what you guys think. My man Thomo says, I think the spread looks big, but teams off overtime games are horrible the next week. Interesting. Cousins is much better at home. Norman out is big, but Redskins defense has solid pass rush. I'm not betting this game. You're right. I should have mentioned the loss of Josh Norman. It is big, but it's not like San Francisco's passing game is going to do a lot of damage, but that is a great point. Thank you for mentioning that. Best Gambler says, did San Francisco travel back home or did they stay in Washington? That's a good call. I don't know if any of you guys know this. Delta says Redskins 31-14. David says under. All right. Omar Nimri, welcome, my man. Am I wrong for liking the Eagles on the road? Man, you gotta go back and watch the tape, man. We gotta keep fucking moving. We've been doing this for an hour. We only have 11 games on the card. But Lou Chase is in, loves the Eagles in this situation, but we've done this. Aspire to Elite says, I'll pay for the hook, 10.5, and take the Niners. Niners are in every game. They are. They are in every game. Even that game they lost opening day to Carolina, the score flattered the Panthers. Nate Dogg says San Francisco is 4-1 straight up in its last 5 games when playing Washington. Interesting. My man Slew says Jimmy deserves his own night show. I like the sounds of that, Slew. Man, I like the sounds of that. Lou Chase says Carolina going to get exposed, but we're okay. We're on the Redskins game right now. So my man Tomo says teams playing back-to-back road games in the NFL are usually a bad bet, and that's been true again this year. Washington or pass for me. It is tough. It is tough, and that's why my man asked if the Niners went back all the way across the coast, back home, and then came back to Washington. But my man David H says that I'm wearing the winning hat. You mean straight up? Because if you think they're going to win straight up, man, bet on that money line. You get fucking rich. Meet me in Costa Rica, and we'll go to the Hotel Del Rey. Sports Capper, given more gold, says teams off an OT game are 39-60 against the spread since 2014. Jesus. That's a big fact, man. That is a big fact. Adam Lastman says short week, take the points. Nate Dogg says total has gone over 18 of Washington's last 25 games. That's a wow. You know the over is with Norman out of the lineup. The over might be a really good spot here. And Jay Peach says that I have open ass on my head. I feel you, Jay Peach. You're not a 49er fan. You got to like the Deadskins in this one, Luke Tate says. Wow. The over is something I am going to think about, but not jump all over. Over, question mark. Okay, let's move on. I like this. So I have not had a lot of games so far that I have liked. As you can see, I've not made many calls so far that I'm going to be using in the Beat the Bag contest, but they are coming soon. Thomas says, I think the fact the 49ers lost in demoralizing fashion hurts them here too. I think that is a good point. They know they are in a playoff team and probably won't get up every week. Interesting. Ace is mad that I don't know why you put money on the Habs, Ace. I've been saying every morning how bad I think they are. And I've had an okay start in hockey, up units, but I don't want to get ahead of myself. It's a tough sport to bet. Travis is on the Blackhawks. Didn't love the back-to-back, but the Habs are bad. Well, you know how I stand in that. So, okay, let's move on to the next game. And this is a game that I like. I like quite a bit and will most likely be in my top 5. Could even be my best bet of the week. Rams at Jaguars. Jaguars are 2.5-point favorites. The over-under is 43.5. And I like the Jags here. It's Gurley versus Fournette. And there's 2 defenses that allow a lot of rushing yards. Fournette went 28 carries for 181 yards versus the Steelers. The Jags have to put all the eggs in the Fournette basket because we all know Bortles is terrible, and we got to just let the Jags D win the game. Hear this. The Jags have the best cornerback tandem in the entire league, Bouye and Ramsey. Almost says I love the Rams here. That worries me. Delta says my best bet is Jags minus 2.5. Okay, Lou Chase likes the over. Okay, I do not like it when Thomo doesn't like where I'm going. Fournette had 90 on one run. That is true. Jay Pete says Thomo on LA, Jimmy on Jags. Fuck my life. I'm concerned. I know Thomo is typing away right now. I can guarantee you that Thomo is typing away right now. Sports Capper has Rams plus 2.5. I'm locked. Well, this is all very concerning to me. David H is going to pass. Thomo says, I think the Jaguars look good against Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh was in the look-ahead spot with Kansas City on deck. Rams should have beaten Seattle. Very unlucky with turnovers. Delta says, looks like a battle of don't turn the ball over. Do you remember in last week's show, I said I want the Ravens over the Raiders, and I wanted it as my best bet. And my man, Mario Martinez Jr., who is too bad he's not on the show, he gives great facts as well, was hammering me with fact after fact after fact after fact as to why the Ravens shouldn't be able to play well going across the coast. We talked about how bad E.J. Manuel is, and I like the Jaguars very much, but I'm concerned that you guys don't like them. Nate Dogg coming in with some facts to make me feel a little better. Jacksonville is 6-2 against the spread in its last 7 games. Lou Chase comes in and says Goff is a bitch. Domo says, I bet on Jacksonville to win the division at plus 260. Maybe that's why I had the plus 260 in my head. Oh, no. Yeah. Domo, I think that's why I had the plus, because I remember that number for some reason. But I feel like they can't throw the ball. Bortles had 93 yards last week. Baltimore didn't show up in London. Jacksonville got Houston with Savage. Those are good points. Aspire to Elate says, I'm with you, Jimmy. Jack's defense is sick. They are so good. I love the Calais Campbell pickup, but fuck, I like Bouye and Ramsey very, very much. Thomas says Jacksonville's pass defense is good, but they got run all over in the preseason, and Bilal Powell ran all over them too. Okay, you're absolutely right. Jacksonville's rush defense has looked very bad. Bad in the preseason, bad in the regular season. That has to be fixed. They're 31st in the league in rush yards against. That needs to change. Someone says rush defense has issues. You're absolutely right. Sports Capper says Jacksonville offense flat at home. They have looked flat at home. Nate Dogg says Jacksonville has a good defense. Well, you've all concerned me about this bet that I liked quite a bit, and I will have to watch this video over again. My man Jay Peach, who generally uses the term open ass in his comments, have to lean Rams here. I feel you. Aspire to Elate says they shut down Bell last week. Bell does not. I mean, Bell had a really good game 2 weeks ago, and I thought he might be back, but clearly missing the preseason or holding out during the preseason has affected him. Goff has a chip. Sports Capper says teams off a game in which they scored 2 defensive touchdowns are 6-6 straight up and 2-10 against the spread as a favorite. Wow, Sports Capper. God, you got some great facts. Mikey, Jags 1-6 last 7 against the spread at home. Another nice fact that scares the shit out of me. Jay Peach says the open ass is only for the 49ers. Okay, Jay Peach, I got you. Delta says the key is the Rams quarterback sucks. Now, that's not a I thought Goff was overachieving, but he certainly doesn't suck. I felt good when the Seahawks won last week. It was something I expected and predicted. It was my last cut for the contest, which was fucking irritating because instead I took the fucking Texans. Tomo says, I just think Jaguars can't put 2 good games together because Bortles sucks and Robinson out. His weapons aren't that good. I feel you. Ace has Virginia -3 over North Carolina. Aspire to Elate says, can Rams really stop Fournette? I don't know. Aaron Donald does not look that good this year. Domo says, Delta Rams went up and down the field on Seattle. They just couldn't finish drives. Nate Dogg says the total has gone over in 7 of Jacksonville's last 8 games at home. Wow. That's interesting. Luce says, no, Goff actually sucks. Or if you bet the better quarterback each week, you would spin your wheels. Yeah, I feel you, Sports Capper. Tomo says Rams had 400 yards against Seattle, 200 more yards than them. I just think the Rams are a solid team. And a few Cappers do. And the guy I strategize with still thinks that the Rams will win the division, but he despises the Seahawks. So that may be the reason why he feels the Rams are. And we know the big man on campus has been on the Rams all year. Someone says, I can't back Bortles against a good offense at a pick'em. He cannot throw down the field without committing turnovers. Vito, what up, man? Welcome. He says, spreads under 3 with over under 43 are great plays for the over in the NFL. Well, I'm concerned now. I'm concerned about this bet, and I will have to think about it long and hard. Next game. Oh, we got a little bit more. Big E says Jags. Brandon Albert is scheduled to visit New Jersey. Nate Dogg says Jacksonville is the play. Fuck. Yeah, okay. We'll move on to the next game, and I'll continue thinking about that. Okay. The Buccaneers at Cardinals -2. And I'm sure you're going to poke holes in my plan, but I really like the Bucs in the situation. My man Thomo says, I bet every Jacksonville game wrong. I mean, that happens. Sometimes you have a team that just you can't quite figure out. That happens to all of us. Mikey says, Jags win looked better than it was. Tough to account for 2 pick sixes, and you better not lose when you get 5 picks. I think it's a letdown for the Jags after a big win. Rich Banks in the house. What up, Jimmy? Nice to have you, Rich. Man, we're getting some great cappers involved. This is good. Jay Peach still thinks it's a flip of the coin. Slew says most online books. Okay, that's a different game. Gary Wedderburn has Rams and over. Can't count for 5 turnovers every game. I get that. Rich, Big E, did you get that Toronto Raptors -6 in? Best Gambler says Rams traveling east for the first time this year. I think the Jags are over as the play. Okay, so I like the Bucks too. Okay, let's do this. Oh, Travis Taylor says my Bucks. Tampa Bay 24, Arizona last second field goal to make it a close game. Lou Chase likes the Bucks too. Delta has it 24-27. I guess you're saying for the Cards. I guess I don't know. You're not giving a team there. Thomas says I like Tampa here at less than 3, but I would wait to see if Bonnie Humphreys are out. That's a good question. Arizona's offensive line is trash with them out, and they could be back this week. That's true. Aspire to Elate says Bucks Arizona game is a dead under. I think the Bucks might be able to put some points on the board here. But Sports Capper is agreeing with Mikey. I'm not exactly sure. I can't remember what he said. And Biggie got that money in with Rich Banks on the Raptors. That's good to hear. Dupree 2012, welcome to the show, my man, says Bucks sound good. Mile High, welcome to the show, says Winston looks lost, needs to tighten up his throws. He does. Oh, Jay Peach says Arizona is close to open ass. Okay, all right. Travis Taylor says, what's the total again? The total of this is 44.5 right now. Jay Peach says dead under, in my opinion, too. When is David H is saying, when is Tampa Bay going to wake up? I think they wake up this week against a team in the Cardinals that isn't very good. Now, Tampa Bay should get Alexander back this week, which is huge, and they can rush the passer. Palmer is done with a bad offensive line, can't move. Arizona's secondary has holes. Well, Adrian Peterson will be making his Cardinals debut, but I don't think he'll be much of a factor. God, is that fucking rushing being terrible for the Cardinals. 81-year-old Jim Brown in slacks and dress shoes would do a better job than Chris Johnson has been doing. I think the Bucs are in a good spot here. They outplayed the Pats, but lost due to a kicker. You can say that. Palmer's look fucking awful. Are the Cards an auto fade until Johnson comes back? Let's see. Nate Dogg with more facts. Total has gone under in 5 of Arizona's last 6 games when playing at home against Tampa Bay. Interesting. Dupree is excited that the Cards just got AP. I don't know. Delta likes it. Says AP is the best. I don't know what the best at spanking kids. Thoma says, I don't think the running back position is the issue. They have no offensive line. Who's scoring in this game? Don't you think this Bucs offense can figure shit out? They have weapons. They have a quarterback who should be able to do some damage. Travis says Quan is such a big deal. Rich says Carson Palmer is awful. He said I didn't. Maybe you want horrible, maybe you want awful. So he delivered awful. I think you're right. Jay Peach. Who are you talking about, Jay Peach? I know who you're talking about there. I like the Bucs. I like the Bucs in this game, but a lot of you guys are riding the under. I'm gonna have to watch this show again to make sure I get all these fucking notes because there's been some good ones. Sports Capper is not afraid of Adrian Peterson doing much. Okay, we're getting okay. Let's see. Bucs easily cover. They face the Patriots on a short week. They will recover. It says Justin Emmert. I still like this. Let's see what they want to say. I hate Winston. I think he sucks, but I think this is a good spot for Tampa to roll in the matchup. Arizona's offensive line is hurt again. Mikey's coming in with some nice facts. Cards are 1-6 in the last 7 as a pooch, and 4-13 against the spread last 17 at home. Those are good notes. Dupree says Evans will get locked up. Jackson should up. Is Martin back this week? Martin was back last week. Martin was back last week unless he got hurt or something. I didn't see him get hurt. Travis says so many weapons. Jameis will. Best Gambler says under is 13-3 in last 16 home games for Arizona. Wow. Maybe the under is a play here. Be better in non-prime time, says my man Travis. Well, maybe the under is a play here. I'll make a note of it with a question mark for more study. Yeah. Biggie says, yeah, he was. Yeah, I watched Martin come back. I thought maybe you said Martin got hurt, but I didn't know. Martin actually looked better than I expected. I thought Martin looked pretty good. Luce says this is a good underplay, if anything. Okay, Rich Banks says, all right, dudes, I was just checking in. Oh, man, you're off to the Golden Knights game. Best of luck to all y'all. Oh, Rich, man, much love to you and everybody in Vegas. It's my favorite city in the world, and nothing will ever take that away from it. So I'm thankful that you'll be there at the game. We'll all be thinking about you and everybody in Vegas, my man. Someone says, I didn't understand Tampa's game plan last week. Martin was great in the first half, didn't get carries in the second half. Arizona has solid run defense, but Tampa should move the ball on the secondary. Best Gambler says, I like the muscles hamster. Luce says, peace, Rich Banks. So, yeah, I know that Martin was suspended. I just thought by his comment, maybe Martin had got hurt during the game. I know he's suspended for 4 games. All right. Sports Capper says early money is on the under. We're all cheering for the Knights, man. We're all cheering for the Knights. And then Travis says, I think Jameis struggles a hint in prime time. I think Jameis is going to be fine. I'm not off of the Bucks. I'm on the Bucks in this game, although I will continue to study it. All right. We have 2 games left. Steelers at Chiefs, -4.5. 45.5 points is the over-under. Now, we can't, as we've said, we can't let the biases affect us. Yes, the Steelers looked terrible last week. They looked awful. Okay, we got a couple last notes on the game that we were just talking about. Travis says the Cards have a pretty decent pass defense, but Wentz fucking torched them last week. They did. Domo says, I think the Bucks are a good bet against bad teams, a good fade against good teams. That's interesting. Jay Peach likes the under. Okay, so we're going on to the Steelers game. My man David H. likes the Pittsburgh Steelers in this. Justin Emerson says Steelers have serious problems in the locker room. You are absolutely right. My man Travis Taylor is with me on the Bucks, and that makes me feel good. Trav, are you going to use it in the competition? Because you were doing very well in the competition, so let me know that. Well, let's talk about these fucking Steelers. Well, first, let's talk about the Chiefs, okay? The Chiefs are the most consistent team in the league, and I like them at -4.5 points right now. I like them quite a bit. They would be my pick to win the Super Bowl right now if Eric Berry was healthy. If they don't have Conley or Wilson in the lineup, that will be a big blow to their passing game. They lost to the Steelers in last year's AFC divisional playoff game, and they will want to beat them bad. Okay. And I'm going to get to Thomo in a second. I'm going to read this fast. Big Ben has a bad game. He doesn't tell people to relax like Aaron Rodgers would. Instead, he says, maybe I've lost it. That's not what you want to hear. Bell went 15 for 47 yards to a team who allows the second most rush yards in the league. He's underwhelmed since he missed. Okay, so Thomas says, I really like Pittsburgh here. I think Tomlin is a horrible head coach, but his teams do one thing well, play well in big games. Key to stopping Kansas linebackers. Pittsburgh's linebackers are strong in coverage. Slew says that a bunch of the Toronto boys are heading to the Vegas game on Friday. Fucking sweet, man. I wish I could be there with you guys. Vito says KC has revenge on the mind after the playoffs last year, and he thinks there'll be a blowout. I agree with you that they have revenge on the mind. But Sports Capper says contrarians play, Steelers. And we were talking about that today in the office. All the public's going to be on the Chiefs. Nate Dogg says Pittsburgh is 5-1 straight up in the last 6 games when playing KC. Yeah, but this fucking, with Big Ben having all these doubts, this is a strange Pittsburgh team. David likes Pittsburgh at +4. I feel you. Travis hasn't decided yet. Okay, man, you're just you're doing very well in the contest. Want to get this inside information, Trav? Okay, so let's see. Okay, I'm behind. Shit. Okay, if Kelsey is out, take Pittsburgh. I don't believe Kelsey's going to be out. It sounds like he's going to be okay. Dupree says, I wish Andy Reid was still in Philly. Yeah, he has done a great job in Kansas City. Best Gambler says Pittsburgh is 13-6 against the spread after a loss. That's an important point. David's giving us, I don't have any action on that national game, but I'm expecting that team to play well. Sports Capper says Steelers going to save Vegas from all the parlay cards. You could very much be right. Chiefs are going to be on a lot of cards this week. Doma says Chiefs lost in the playoffs last year because of run defense, which they improved. But I think Barry out hurts, and Kelsey out hurts too. I heard that Kelsey's going to be okay. I don't know if anybody else has information. I know he's in protocol right now. Okay. Nate Dogg says total has gone under in 5 of Pittsburgh's last 5 games. Interesting. My man Rob Chambers, welcome to the show, dog. Steelers have good linebackers. Question mark. Didn't Jacksonville run all over them? Question mark. That's so Thomas says the Chiefs are good, but I don't think they beat the Redskins if Norman doesn't get hurt in that game. His point there. Redskins secondary fell apart after the injury. KC was lucky to beat the Eagles too. Tie game in the fourth quarter. And then we go back to that Niners Redskins game where the over is looking so good. My man Jay Peach, a comment without the term open ass in it, refreshing. Says Kansas City wins 23-17. That's a low scoring game and would fit the under. Slight cover. Vito says Pittsburgh lost to Chicago and Jags at home. Something's wrong with Big Ben. It seems that way. A says Ben was contemplating retirement before the season. His head's not in it. His head is in some unwilling chick in the bathroom of a bar. That's so funny. I had a girl give me a Roethlisberger jersey right after the second rape. Like, you don't follow the news? You can't wear this jersey, walk around the city. That's funny, Ace. Nate Dogg says, I like Kansas City. Not sure if this is a trap. Yes, I'm not sure if this is a trap either. Sports Capper says, highest scoring team from previous week, that's the Chiefs at 42, is an auto fade. Sounds stupid, but if you only knew. Woo! Man, I dig running with you, Sports Capper. Please be at all my shows, man. You've got some fucking dope points, man. Great facts. Thomas says, and he's talking back to Ace and to all of us, Big Ben just says he will retire to leverage the team. It's the same bullshit Favre pulled every year. Could be true, but I felt that he was really thinking about it. But it could be true, Thomo. Mikey says, Kansas City 10-2 in last 12 against the spread. 5-0 this year. Just not a team I'm trying to step in front of, especially with Roethlisberger's track record on the road. I have a hard time seeing Pittsburgh hitting on the money line. I think that is sharp, what you just said, Mikey. I just tried to get in the way of the Chiefs and felt like such a fucking buffoon for doing it. And I'm not going to do it again. Craig West, what up, man? Nice to have you, homie. JP says, Jimmy, I met OJ at my job on Sunday. He was talking Alex Smith up. OJ. Well, he had a lot of time to study in prison. Artez Jackson, think the under. Well, as we've heard, that is a pretty good spot to be in. Slew says, Jay Peach, I'm worried the mood will be dampened due to the horrible event. Oh, he's talking about hockey. Okay. Sports Capper wants me to be liked. Thanks, man. Thoma says, I think the media is beating up Roethlisberger the same way they beat up Cam after the New Orleans game. I think he responds against mediocre Kansas City secondary with Barry out. That's I feel you, man. I think that's a good point. Luce says, Rapist Burger will sounds like there may be more than one rapist in this conversation. Luce, that is a very dark comment. Ace says it's looking like an 0-4 night in hockey. Fuck these figure skaters. Ace, stay cool, man. Stay cool. What's happening in the Hurricanes game? Anybody give me the Hurricanes information? Chiefs due for a loss, says David H. And I know, okay, we're going to hit the Broncos game in a second, Mikey. And Nate Dogg says Kansas City 5-0 against the spread and 5-0 in their last 5 games. KC might be the Super Bowl champ, in my opinion. Sports Capper, I think you're right. It's getting back to normal here. Okay. Hey, Justin Emmer, is that 3-1 for the Canes? Please say it's 3-1 for the Canes. Please say it's 3-1 for the Canes. I got a lot of fucking action there. Nate Dogg, Kansas City is 5-0 against the spread because the miracle against the Redskins, which we saw. Lucky cover against the Eagles, and they got Houston with Watt and Merciless out. 5 minutes left, 4 minutes to go. Okay, good. Well, actually, let's not get ahead of ourselves. We know that things can change very fast, and that capping is a cruel mistress. Canes down 1-0. What the fuck? What was the 5 minutes left, 4 minutes to go thing? Oh, Columbus 1-0. Fuck. Why did I get so excited? Okay. For some reason, I thought that game started earlier. Hands down one. Hurricanes are losing. Okay. I didn't need the capitals, Ace. I can read losing in lowercase. Okay. Let's okay. Oh, Aspire to Elate says Kansas City is my beat the bag best bet. Ooh. Sports Capper with nice trend, says Tomo. You're absolutely right, Sports Capper. Okay, let's go to the final game, the Monday Nighter, and the only big spread that I like. Giants at Broncos, minus 11.5 with a 39.5 point over under. All right. So Thomo says, can we stop with this? KC did the Super Bowl stuff. Barry's out, and Alex Smith is still Alex Smith. They're the most consistent team in the NHL right now, Thomo. Ace is pissed off. I'm pissed, all caps. I'm about to go kill someone. Ace, keep your cool, man. You got lots of winning nights ahead of you. And you got the big football game you're going to be watching. Okay, just kidding. Good, Ace. Stay cool. Stay cool, my man. Okay, Giants at Broncos. I think this will be a slaughter. Now, again, I don't want last week to give me a bias, but we saw what happened. The Giants are decimated physically and mentally. They just lost two of the best receivers in the league. And you can't run against the Broncos. They have the best run defense in the league. What's wrong with this New York Giants defense? I thought it was supposed to be good. Colts and Titans are on Monday night, right? I thought it was Giants and Broncos, man. Monday night. But okay. Giants at Broncos. So let's talk about this Giants defense for a second. Jonathan Hankins might have been a much bigger piece to this Giant defense than we thought. Jenkins, Snacks, and Apple got to step the fuck up. Now, McAdoo is not a good coach. And the Broncos are coming off a bye week and have had 2 weeks to prepare. This could be a slaughter. I like the Broncos at minus 11.5. Let's see what you guys think. Luce says, Broncos got it. They cover. Thomo says, Justin, because, okay. So this is the Sunday night game. That's what you guys are saying. Okay. Of course, because the Colts Titans game is off of the ledger right now on the contest. That's why I wasn't on my show. Okay. Denver's 5-1 against the spread in its last 6 games when playing New York Giants. Thank you for that note, Nate Dogg. You've been great. Sports Capper says G-Men now face back-to-back teams off the bye and again in week 9. Good luck. So this is the Sunday night football game. Okay. How do you not like the Broncos here? Now, is all the public going to take the Broncos at minus 11.5? And is there a contrarian move here that I'm missing? Thomas says, Jimmy, I agree with your analysis, but I found teams in the Giants' position when on primetime tend to play hard. I'm not betting this game. That's interesting. David likes to teaser up Denver. Yeah, that's interesting. Take the spread down. I hear what you're saying, Thomo, and it's concerning. Nate Dogg says Denver is 13-3, sure, in its last 16 games at home. Best Gambler says Giants are 2-9-2 in their last 13 road games against a team with a winning record. Wow. Aspire to Elate says got to go under, like 21-3 Denver. I think the under is another good idea here. I'd like to hear what you guys have to say about that. I think is another good idea here. Justin says, how did the Giants score any points? I agree. I think the under is a great play here, Aspire to Elate. I think you're bang on. And Vito says under is the only play here. I think because the Giants defense has to step up, don't they? And I thought the Giants defense was going to be good. And they've not looked good. Justin says maybe Giants team total under. I think that is another good idea that I will be writing down. Thomas says, I just worry that Denver will think they can win just by showing up. Denver should blow them out. Sports Capper says, if you like the Giants, better be on a 10-point teaser at plus 21.5. I tend to agree with you. Denver offense is not the best. Yeah, they're not the best, but we've seen how well Simeon plays at home. He's playing very well at home. I think we're on something with the under and the Giants team total under, but is this just too simple? Because we all know that it just doesn't work like that. And Thomo made some good points about the Giants stepping up. The Giants are dealing with some real adversity right now. This is a time when they could step up. Hmm. Interesting stuff. But I like the Broncos at minus 11.5. I like the under. I mean, with a spread that big, I would not make it my best bet. That's clear. But okay, let's see what Mikey has to say. I like Broncos first half. Broncos still haven't given up a point in the first quarter. Interesting. The Giants are 31-32 in first half scoring. The 31st out of 32 teams the first half, scoring only 5.2 points per game. Broncos have played better offensively in the first half as well. Those are good points, Mikey. I like where you're going with that. Nate Dogg says total has gone under an 8 of New York Giants last 12 games on the road. I'm leaning towards that. My man Artez Jackson says under. I'm feeling it. Lou Chase says the Giants defense is a turd burger. Big E says I'm not touching this game. I can understand why you would not want to touch this game, Big E. Thomo says Eli Manning is dog shit on the road, though, and the Giants' run defense hasn't been the same this year. I'd only bet Denver. Hurricane score. Thanks, Ace. Thank you, my man. That is wonderful, wonderful news, my man. Aspire to Elate says only way Giants score is Denver turnovers in their own territory. No way they can move the ball. I agree. That's how I see it. That's how I see it. So, with that in mind, I'm going to move on to the Monday Nighter, which I, for some reason, thought that was it. And it's Colts Titans. And I can understand why it's not on the board. Let's do it. Colts Titans. Delta says the Giants have a better passing. That was before the injuries, man. Sports Capper says, I hate playing DDs. I feel you. It's 11.5 is not comfortable. It's not a fun thing to do when you're gambling. But the Broncos money line to reduce the juice parlay. I don't even think I would need, I'm a big believer in adjusting the lines, but how are the Giants going to put any points on the board? Best Gambler says Broncos 6-1 over in the 6-1 in the last 7 games over. Big E says yes. 1:25 left in the game. Jesus. Whew. I needed that. Steve Tate says, where's Loshak, man? Loshak is the star of SBR. He doesn't need to be here fucking 8 o'clock at night, man. 7:30 at night. This is for guys at the bottom, man. This is the bottom slot, man. But Loshak is the fucking truth, man. Hurricanes back-to-back shootout wins. I'm fucking hoping. Mikey says, kind of a funny trend. Broncos are 10-0 against the spread following a game where Demaryius Thomas has fewer than 3 receptions. That's strange. Nate Dogg says, is Mariota out? They said he was close to playing. I mean, we'll have to watch, right? So that's why it's not in the contest right now. Tomo says, I think the Titans secondary is absolute trash. Look what Seattle did to them on the road, despite Seattle being trash on the road for 2 years. I think the value is on the over if Mariota plays. Steve Tate says, yes, it's a graveyard shift. Yeah, man, but I don't mind it. Steve, I don't know if you've been watching the show, but there's some great fucking handicappers on the show today. If I could run with you guys every night, I know I would have a better record than I have, and I love working with you guys. Sports Capper says Pete's working his pistol. Well, who knows what Pete does after hours? He's a mysterious man. Chase says bottom feeders. Yes, this is you're talking about the football game, right? Delta says couple hockey home teams and 2 unders coming up. I hope so. David H says, Jimmy, you move up to the primetime job. Thanks, David H. You're very kind, and I love hanging with you guys, man. You make this really fun. Steve Tate says, I watch. Thanks for the picks, man. Hey, my pleasure, man. I want us all to have fatter pockets and hotter sleuths, man. I want all of us to have better lives, and that's why we do this shit, man. It's really fun, but also we want to make cake. So Best Gambler says, did you go over in the Chargers and Oakland? I'll have to go back and look it up. Aspire to Elate says, Seattle yards were all garbage time against Tennessee. Vito says, Jimmy, stick to the NBA. You're good there. I'm really excited to hammer the NBA. Ace says, you like Vancouver tonight, Jimmy? I really do. Do we know that Carlson's out of the lineup? If Carlson and Oduya are out of the lineup, we're getting a huge value on the knuckleheads. Zach Kenkel says, I went 5-0 again. Shocker. Zach, that's impressive, man. What's your name in the contest? Noma says, Aspire to Elate. Not true. He says Seattle had a 14-9 lead against Tennessee in the second half. They moved the ball well. Slew says, Nate, it's still a game time decision on Mariota as of now. Luce says, Zach, share your picks, bro. Yeah, Zach, man, we want to run with winners, man. Toma says the only team the Raiders offense looked good against this year, was Tennessee. You're right. All posted, man. Zach, what's your name in the contest, my man? David says, good. Learn other people's views on games. Yeah, it's great, man. And you guys are sick, man. You guys really know what you're talking about. There was some great stuff, man. I mean, Thomo is so smart and so sharp to run with, and with Ace too. I just love rocking with you guys. But Nate Dogg and Sports Cap are dropping some fucking dope stuff, man. Thank you, Travis. Thank you all you guys for watching. It's a treat. Flyer score again, down 3-2. Ooh. Best gambler, man. Thank you for being a part of this, man. Is it? Oh yeah, Carlson and Oduya are out, as far as I know. As far as I know. Aspire to a late. Sam Snead, 47th place. I'm coming hard. The hockey show this morning, all winners so far. Is that right? Good. Good. That's what we want to do. Is we want to give you guys winners every fucking day, man. And it's an honor sitting beside Pistol Pete Loshak. So we haven't broken down the Colts-Titans game too much. We probably should hammer it a little bit. Obviously, if Matt Castle is playing, he's going to get they're going to lose. He's fucking terrible. Mikey says, Jimmy, do you ever play NHL teams on back-to-backs after they lost the first game? I've had success in the past with this angle. I think it's a lot like an MLB doubleheader. Played Hawks in this situation. You know, Mikey, I will do that, but I need to be a month into the year. I need to know the players have their legs under them. It's such a difficult game. It's being played at such a fast speed right now. And so I made a conscious decision to wait a month before I started doing that. But Mikey, run with me on Twitter. I'm at Jimmy in the Bag so we can continue all the strategizing. You've been great on today's show. Ace Farmer says they out for Ottawa. Line hasn't moved. No, because we've known they've been out. We've known for days that they weren't going to be playing. That's why it was an even money game. The Senators would be favored. Amazingly as it sounds, they would be favored coming into Vancouver with Carlson. David A says next show college football review. We can do that, man. Delta says I'm going Vancouver and under 5. That's an interesting call, Delta. I dig it. Aspire to a late says the zigzag theory. Travis says Blue's going to cash. Loving it. Nice. Slew says add Jimmy to the Ice Guys, man. Those guys are great, man. Much respect to them. I'd love to run with them. Travis just need the Knights tonight. Yeah, we all do. So I guess we're not going to hit the Colts Titans game too much. We're about to shut down here. I don't know if you guys have any points on this. Sports Capper at Mikey. Thanks for the NHL insight. Yeah, man. You guys are a treat to fucking handicap with. Please, let's do this as much as possible, even when I'm not hosting this show, so we can do it and make some money. I'm on a 6-day winning streak, and I hope the Hurricanes get me on the right track to make it 7. Nate Dogg, my man, coming in with some facts. Indy is 5-0 straight up in last 5 games when playing Tennessee. If Matt Castle is a starting quarterback for the Tennessee Titans, I will hammer Indy. Delta says, looks close, Nate, like a Colts 23-20 win, and they have Vinatieri. They do have clutch kicking. If Mariota plays, it's a different story. So we'll have to wait and see what the story is. That's why it's not up in the contest. And yeah, Thomas says Nate Dogg, that was with luck. And Nate Dogg says, yeah. Let me know what's up with Kluber, Jimmy. Yeah, why don't we do that quickly right now? I got a message from a capper who I just started running with, who said before last game, he said, no way in hell, there's not a fucking chance that Kluber wouldn't start game 1 if he was healthy. There's not a chance. He said that something is going on. They're hiding an injury. There's no way that Francona would start him game 2 just to have him fresh for game 5. When you're the favorite in the series, you don't want it to go 5 games. You would never risk it to go 5 games. So he said that to me, and I'd already done the morning show. Loshak and I both said that Kluber is the best pitcher in the league right now. There had to be something wrong with him, and nobody was talking about it. And not enough people are talking about it now. Now, he didn't have any inside information. There was no inside information. It was just that it made no sense whatsoever. that Kluber would not start game 1 under any circumstances. With that being the case, how do I bet on the Indians tomorrow? The only thing I can do is bet on the over. But what if Kluber's ready to play? So the only thing I'm going to do, if I do anything now, I'm so confused. And I've got all these fucking futures on the line. Well, not too many. I got $600 in futures, $300 on the AL, and $300 on the World Series. And so Thoma says the line says Kluber is healthy, but he looked like shit last start. Why wouldn't he start game 1? There simply has to be a reason that we don't know. There has to be. Why put him out in an elimination game then? Because Kluber is your best pitcher, and he looks you in the eyes and says, I'm good to go, coach. The fucking whatever was ailing him, he's like, I'm good to go. I'm ready to pitch. I feel good. Clearly, something's up. There just has to be something up. Can't bet overs because these bullpens are locked down. God, I agree with you, but you can bet first 5 over. You can bet Indians first 5 over. Because I think Sabathia could get touched, even though he is a good big game pitcher when he's off the bottle. And Thomas says, they have no choice. Who else are they going to put out? And he says, Carrasco. It all comes down to your best player looks you in the eyes and says, I'm good to go, coach. Are you supposed to say, nah, you stubbed your toe and we're worried sick? Carrasco pitched game 3. I knew Tomlin should have pitched game 4. I said that on the show. It didn't. Tomlin's pitching really well. Save Bauer for game 5. There has to be something up. I don't know exactly what to do. So let's strategize. We got some time. Let's figure that shit out together. Ace thinks Salazar too could have been going. Salazar had such a touch and go season. But we got to run, man. I got to run, man. I'm going to get some drinking in me. I also got to prepare for Low Shack in the bag in the morning. So let's do a couple more drops on this baseball. And Thomas says, I think Cleveland's bullpen can bail him out if he's bad. I thought Salazar should have pitched game 4. I thought Tomlin should have pitched game 4, but I feel you. Yanks are playing with house money. Can't hate that scenario if you're them, especially after sending it to 5. Yanks definitely have the momentum. Yanks definitely have the momentum, sure. Aspire to Elite says, Jimmy, just stay off of it. You obviously aren't comfortable. I'm probably going to stay off of it. The only thing I might want to do is bet on the Yankees because I have the futures on Cleveland. I don't know. David wants to talk CFL. I want to talk CFL, and we hit easily with the Eskimos, and we're going to keep hitting. We'll keep doing that on Low Shack in the bag. Delta says, just bet the Astros next series. I think I go a step above. I think instead of taking the Astros next series, I think I take the Astros to win the World Series because I've got the Dodgers on the other side. But that's something that I'll be breaking down, and we can break that down together. I understand. Mikey says, thanks for the show, Jimmy. Thank you guys, man. Thank you guys so much. It kind of, Thomas says, it's setting up for a Dodgers-Houston, in my opinion. Don't count out the winner of this Cubs-Nats series, but I hear you. Nate Dogg says, cheers, guys. Hit the like button. Stop being scrubs, man. I don't call my men scrubs, but, the guys at SBR do see how many likes that we get and stuff like that, so it means something for you guys to hit it. Zach says, hammer the Indians tomorrow. Lay the house. Thomas says, Ace, you sound like you're trying to convince yourself. Aspire to Elite, thanks for joining us, man. There was some incredibly good cappers on this show, and I only improve when I hang out with you guys, so it means a lot. They need Vito says they need Encarnacion back. Supposedly he could come back. I don't see how that's possible. Rob Chambers says, good show, Jimmy. Great info from the chat too. Yeah, man, the chat was live and very good. Kluber being money all year at home. Ace says, I can't fucking why. You just can't trust a guy when you know he should have started game 1. Something has to be up. And fuck the Indians and Francona for not telling us what the fuck's going on, telling us gamblers trying to make money off these situations. A says Yankees lost 6 straight road games. And my man Chris says, let's get that cake. That's right, Chris. Let's get that fucking cake, man. Milk these bookies. Thank you guys so much. Hurricanes lose. Fuck. Cock sucker. Sports Capper says, good stuff, Jimmy. Good luck to everyone. Good luck to all you guys, man. Let's make that cake. Thank you so much for watching. Have yourselves a wonderful evening, and let's keep making money, man. even though I just lost to the fucking Hurricanes. Fuck. Much love. Thank you guys. Be well.